Good evening, everybody. Justin Publon here. We're going to start off with the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, showing above average likelihood of above average precipitation across the Great Lakes, February 26th to the March 1 timeframe. Going to shift right over to temperature right away. And wow, looks like a blowtorch across the eastern United States with below normal temperatures in the western half of the United States. Looking quickly at the AO, we're nearing a index of 2, which is sort of in line with the previous peaks throughout this winter, and then we will be looking to fall down from that as we head towards March. Looking at the PNA, interestingly, we are at a 0 at the moment, but forecast a dip to maybe the lowest levels we've seen this winter so far. So that would correspond with more troughing in the western United States and potentially some more storminess for the central United States. Looking at the MGO real quick, just to show that we are heading through the neutral circle at the moment and seem to be heading into those phases of 3, 4, and 5 as we close out the month, which is in line with what we kind of expected. So let's talk about the kind of the overall picture here, and we'll take this through time from the GFS here, showing a low pressure system working through towards the end of this week, more so this Midwest, not so much Wisconsin. Potentially some cooler air with that aloft, but then as we move towards the middle part of next week, we're starting to warm up a little bit again ahead of this low pressure system, what could be a pretty significant weather pattern for the United States. I feel like this low pressure system coming through here would be pumping a lot of warm air into the Wisconsin area specifically, but also as you looked at that 6 to 10 day time frame, this kind of aligns with that, right? So you kind of see these two things working together. But the GFS here, very aggressive, very strong with the low pressure system for the middle of next week. So this is around February 28th. And then as we take this through time, you just see how that kind of bears up relating to the precipitation. Not so much on the cold air end with this. This is not a system that's going to hang around, I don't believe. I think this is going to be more progressive, but it becoming more negatively tilted and more mature as it moves across the United States. So kind of an interesting system here for the middle part of next week into the late part of next week. And look at the cold air filling in behind this. We'll talk more about that next. So here's a surface wind from about 180 hours. So this is next Tuesday, showing that low pressure system before it ejects across the Wisconsin area, but also just kind of looking at that response here. We have what would be like a warm front. Whoop, that's not where that goes. Warm front going like up here. And then the cold front hasn't emerged yet, but it would be plowing through this area of the United States. Looking at the European for the surface map, the European is different, and so that gives me a little bit of apprehension about going, all the way with the GFS right now. I think that we will need to get closer, and we'll see how the details really pan out, but the big picture is kind of interesting. Here's a closer look for, just because it's interesting, the 500 millibar pattern for 21Z on Wednesday the 28th. So this would correspond to potentially a severe weather outbreak across the southern United States in the Dixie Alley region. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Before we move on, I just want to talk about the website real quick, just to let you know that I'm not always posting videos, but I might post something on the website or write something on the blog or even on the Facebook page. Again, I'm very hit or miss, and I do it when I can. So anyways, if you're looking for more information, just don't be afraid to stop by and check it out. I'm thinking about March now. We're talking about teleconnections here, and what I've created in this document is a way to identify maybe best matches for the our current month relative to teleconnections, and then the next month's coming up. Basically, to say we're here now, where are we going to be, and then take those years at best match. In this case, 2016, 1998, 1992, 2010, and 2003. Those are like the top 5, and then shove them into the climate reanalysis. So this is off of some NOAA site. I can't remember where I found this, but anyways, you can basically feed it these years and month, and then it kicks out an anomaly for you. So this is the precipitation anomaly for March on those 5 years that I just listed. kind of showing an interesting pattern across the Midwest, Wisconsin, of above average precipitation, and then maybe less across the Appalachian region. But what I've noticed with my method, it's not really well tuned to the oceans and the West Coast, East Coast. It's pretty good with getting the central United States pattern. Now, again, it's not weighted in any specific way. It's just saying, again, it is weighted a little heavier towards O&I, and right now I have it listed basically closest to our strong, strongest right now, but meaning like we're up near 2 at the moment for the El Nino. So anyway, just something interesting I thought I'd share. That's precipitation. This is temperature showing continuation of the warmer above average temperatures. The interesting thing to note from here is that when I ran these years for April through May, they are less interesting in terms of overall precipitation, maybe more dry. So the feeling I'm getting, and maybe we're seeing a start to that already, is with this end of February timeframe where it's the 6 to 10 day, 8 to 14 is pretty wet for the Great Lakes, is a stormy pattern, and I'm gonna guess that maybe early March is more active for Wisconsin, and later spring is more quiet like it's been in recent years. On that same note, the N Stew channel and Nick Stewart posted a really cool spring 2024 tornado outlook for the United States, and he brought up an interesting theory about the lack of cold across the Great Lakes and what that could mean for our tornado potential over the next 3 months, so March through June. And typically it has been happening in recent years. We've had a backloaded spring, a colder spring, and the snow has been slow to move. And when that happens, it makes the warm fronts reluctant to make their way up. So I think this is just, and I'll let him kind of talk a little bit on this, but again, I'll put the link to the description. But please check this out. It's actually really interesting. But he's going to talk about it.
Push farther northeast because the Great Lakes aren't as cold. There's not as much cold air locked up there. And so when you get a developing area of low pressure across the central portions of the country, normally you'd have kind of a stiff east-northeast wind out the Great Lakes. That would kind of help keep those warm fronts farther south because they can be pretty strong. We saw that a lot in eastern Iowa especially. That would be a kind of a problem through like mid-May a lot of years, where that warm front just could not push that far north of I-80.
So go check them out. Video link is in the description. While we're on that note of tornadoes, Convective Chronicles, Trey, released a new video about the Plainfield, Illinois F5 tornado, and I will put a link to the description for this video as well. But
no known photos or videos exist of the tornado itself, so it's hard to reconstruct some of the important aspects of the supercell and tornado. But what we do know is that it was violent and produced some pretty incredible damage, as you see here, really from a setup that on the surface did not appear to support significant tornadoes. So in this video, we're going to dive into the meteorology behind this event and discuss what took this from a typical summertime severe weather setup to a setup that produced one of the most intense tornadoes in U.S. history.
Go check it out. That's all I got for you tonight. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.